Today, we are here to celebrate the amazing work done by the participants of the first batch of our 6-month data science bootcamp. The first presenter today is Dr. Alan Warr.
Thank you. I'm Alan Warr. I'm calling in from London, where I'm an IT professional here in London. I hold degrees in business systems, an MBA, a PhD, an MSc, and I've got extensive experience here in London working as an IT business analyst and IT consultant with large UK and public sector organizations. And as Aakash mentioned, I've experienced recently some of the power of analytics on some of the projects I've been involved with corporates, and that's led me to really focus down on it. And I've been working with Jovian and Aakash for the last year or so, and on the bootcamp for the last 6 months to learn the latest techniques from Aakash. And it has been a terrifically interesting and fascinating journey, and very worthwhile. Turning to the projects, the first project I'm going to highlight is a project which is a web scraping project. I was fascinated by the power of web scraping, and it uses Beautiful Soup 4 to web scrape the NHS contact details for NHS organizations. It uses into a pandas data frame. And the use cases for such a large data set are quite extensive in marketing, comms, and strategy, and so on. And so that project has illustrated the power of web scraping on publicly available data and websites to pull out organizational information into a data set for further use. The second project I am highlighting is possibly one of my favorites. It shows the sophistication of data visualization within the Python ecosystem. It uses pandas, Plotly, Seaborn, and Folium, and it takes publicly available crime data from the UK and analyzes it in a variety of ways. I mean, most significantly, it includes a facility to use Folium to allow a citizen to input their postcode, the code of their neighborhood, and have all the recent crime presented in their neighborhood. The project itself is constrained to about 140,000 crime records by focusing in on the City of London, but it extends really easily to cover the whole of the UK and a 10-year period. The third project is a machine learning project, and it's using a Kaggle dataset, an anonymized Kaggle dataset from Santander Bank, which is a Spanish bank here in Europe. Which has 200 features and 200,000 records, and that is analyzed using a variety of machine learning techniques within sklearn to be able to predict whether a customer will go on to do a particular transaction. And although I constrained it for learning reasons into sklearn, which is a machine learning library, I've now taken it on further to try to improve the accuracy, which is already at about 90% as a prediction accuracy, using convolutional neural networks, CNNs, using PyTorch, which is again something I learned from Aakash and the team earlier. So those are the three projects, and just finally, I'd just like to say thank you for listening to me and my little glitch at the beginning and getting connected, and also to the Jovian staff who've been absolutely superb at supporting those three projects and all of the learning that led onto it. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Next up, we have Anushree.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anushree. I'm a management and data science professional from the financial services and IT industry. I'm a computer engineer from NMA-MIT Nidde with an MBA in finance from Tasmach University of Wales. My last role was as a senior director heading a business unit at Acuity Knowledge Partners, which was formerly a Moody's company. In the last 6 months, I've been practicing hands-on coding skills with the Jovian team for data science and machine learning. It's been an amazing journey with best-in-class teaching and mentoring by Aakash, Siddhant, and their teams. A great tech platform, highly robust with excellent rendering and collaboration features, a wonderful Jovian support team, and all my friends in this batch from all over the world. Today, I'm going to share with you 3 of my projects from the Jovian Bootcamp on machine learning, exploratory data analysis, and interactive Tableau dashboards. My first project is in machine learning. The problem statement was to predict store sales for Walmart. I downloaded this data set from Kaggle. It had 537,000 rows and 14 columns of sales data. After some basic cleaning, I performed exploratory data analysis. I found that weekly store sales during holidays such as Black Friday, Christmas season, and the Super Bowl were anywhere from 20 to 40 times that of average weekly store sales. Sales were also 0 or negative, probably because of returns or discounts. I then trained linear regression and ensemble models such as random forest and gradient boosting machines such as XGBoost and LightGBM. My evaluation criteria for this problem statement was the weighted mean absolute error. My best model was a random forest with a validation loss of $1,352 after feature engineering and hyperparameter tuning. This model scored the top 14% on the Kaggle leaderboard. My next project was an exploratory data analysis of customer behavior data of an e-commerce store. This data set was also from Kaggle. It had 42.4 million rows and 9 columns, each row representing a user event. I analyzed this data set with NumPy, Pandas, and visualized the analysis with Seaborn and Plotly. I also used large data handling techniques. I analyzed visit patterns by day of the month, by day of the week. Fridays had the most visits, and also shopping hours. 2 to 4 p.m. UTC seemed to get the most number of shoppers. I also looked at sales by categories and subcategories. I looked at conversion rates and also segmented customers using RFM to identify the most valuable customer segments. My last project is an interactive sales dashboard using Tableau for a bookstore. I analyzed sales and category performance. July and August seem to have the highest monthly sales during the year, possibly due to the summer months. Among the formats, hardcovers sold the most. Sci-fi and fantasy were the highest selling genres. And out of the 4 publishers sold by this bookstore, just one of them made up 82% of the total sales. So that's a short summary of the work that I've done during the bootcamp. You can find more details on my Jovian profile. Thank you for watching and have a good day.
Thank you, Anushree. Next up, we have Shaswath.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shaswath Patil. I'm working as a business analyst for Jovian. I graduated as an electronics and communication engineer from Visvesvaraya Technological University, Belgavi, with MBA in marketing management from PS University, Bengaluru. I'll walk you through 3 of my projects that I built during my course of Jovian Data Science Bootcamp. My first project is machine learning. My objective was to forecast the unit sales of products for one of the largest grocery chains in South America. The dataset had 100+ million rows and 20 columns of sales data. The dataset, I had to scale down the number of rows to 1% using the DAS library due to memory constraints. Further, I split the data into 2 parts, training dataset and evaluation dataset in the ratio 9:1 respectively. I trained linear regression, decision trees, and random forest models on the training dataset. I was able to achieve best RMSE of 17.0 on validation dataset using random forest model. The second project is about exploratory data analysis for e-commerce purchase events. The dataset contained 900,000 plus rows, 9 columns. I cleaned and analyzed the data using Pandas and visualized using Seaborn and Matplotlib. The 3 main events are viewing the product, adding the product to the cart, and purchasing the product. I was able to compute e-commerce key performance indicators like cart abandonment rate, repeat rate, etc. I found cart abandonment rate to be 59%, which implies that 59% of consumers were adding the product to the cart, but didn't purchase the product. Close to 2/3 of the overall dollar sales were contributed by repeat purchasers. Repeat purchasers are those who bought any product twice or more. I was also able to discover patterns about the frequency of 3 events. Most of the buyers were viewing the product during the night hours, but added the product to the cart or purchases during the day hours. And I also looked at most purchase brands among the buyers. My third and last project is about web scraping. I scraped the details of top 100 cryptocurrencies based upon the market share. I use request use to parse the web page and Beautiful Soup for extracting the details. Details include rank, name, symbol, price in US dollars, and the URL. I was able to convert unstructured data into structured data and export it to comma-separated value file format. Thank you for watching, and check out my Jovian hiring profile for more details of my project.
Thank you, Shaswath. Next up, we have Stephen.
Hi, my name is Stephen Wilson, and I live near Dallas, Texas. Earlier this year, I received my Bachelor of Science in Information Technology from Liberty University, where my coursework included Python programming, SQL and databases, and statistics, among other things. And shortly after that, I joined the data science bootcamp offered by Jovian, where I honed Python skills and learn how to apply them to work with data, specifically for analysis and machine learning. And I completed several projects, which I'll talk about in just a second. Right now, I work at Brinks as a project manager, and I am looking for data analyst roles all over the US so I can put these new skills to work and keep learning and improving even more. So my first project was a data analysis that used the Rhode Island data set from the Stanford Open Policing Project. In this project, I analyzed around 500,000 rows and 25 columns of data from traffic stops. The data covers stops from 2005 to 2015, and the goal was to increase trust between police through the through public availability of these records, ultimately to gain transparency between police and the public. Using Python and Pandas, I looked at the traffic stops by day, month, and year, as well as the driver's age, race, and gender, and broke these down by the violation and whether a search was performed. Since police interactions are a hot topic lately, I thought this was a really interesting analysis to work on, and I actually had a lot of fun with this one. Next up is my machine learning project, predicting financial distress using scikit-learn. I used the Give Me Some Credit dataset from Kaggle, which has 250,000 rows and 12 features. The goal was predicting whether someone applying for a loan will have financial issues and struggle to make the payments. I analyzed the data and looked at how things like age, income, and debt were distributed. And then I trained a logistic regression and random forest on 150,000 of the rows, and then tested on the separate test set of 100,000 rows for the Kaggle submission. I tuned hyperparameters using a randomized search and grid search, and the random forest performed quite a bit better on the training data with about 87% accuracy versus 79 on the logistic regression. And then finally, on the Kaggle submission, I achieved 80% accuracy, and still a work in progress to improve that even further. Finally, with data visualization using Excel and Tableau, I've used Excel for several years at different jobs, and through this project, looking at the bookshop data from Tableau, I practiced even more advanced techniques than I've needed before, like VLOOKUP and more advanced uses of pivot tables. Then I imported all of that, the modified bookshop spreadsheet into Tableau and visualized the data to create a dashboard showing sales trends, author trends, and publisher specializations. And just want to thank you all so much for your time. And if you'd like to check out these projects as well as others I've been working on in more detail, just visit my profile here at Jovian.
Thank you, Stephen. Next up, we have Samantha.
Hello, my name is Samantha Roberts. I'm coming to you from New York City in the United States. I'm a physicist by training. I received my bachelor's in physics and math and went on to earn a PhD in solid state physics from Cornell University in 2014. I'm particularly good at designing and building nanoscale devices, and I'm currently employed in Columbia University in New York as a scientist in the field of nanophotonics. Projects I have worked on range from LiDAR to map 3D space to building neuronal probes to map the function of the brain. And recently I became interested in the field of data science and machine learning and have been privileged to find the team at Jovian to begin this part of my journey. For my exploratory data analysis project, I looked at parking violation data retrieved from New York City Open Data website. Each year of data consists of over 10 million rows, each corresponding to a single ticket with 43 features that describe the details of the violation. I used pandas, matplotlib, seaborn, and plotly to do the analysis. I was able to break down the tickets by violation type and borough, look at the distribution of tickets by the day of the week, and also hour of the day for each borough. Incorporating GeoJSON data with Folium, I was able to create a map of police precincts to see which one issued the most tickets. And we can see this here in this dark blue region. This is the 19th precinct, an area here in Manhattan that is referred to as the Upper East Side, and an area I will avoid parking in. A fact I learned from this analysis is that New York City makes over $700 million a year just on parking fines. When data is not so easy to access, we can scrape information from what's posted on the web. I use the Request in Beautiful Soup library to scrape country demographic information from Wikipedia sites. I wrote a script that first scraped a table of links to all the countries and territories, and then followed those links to extract the demographic information from a table such as this on each page. Of the 241 pages, I was able to automate the scraping of 80 of them successfully. The challenge with wiki pages is that it is publicly editable, and the suggested format, even for so-called wiki projects, is not always followed. I subsequently learned that Wikipedia uses a query language called Sparkle to more easily access all wiki data. For my machine learning project, I am working on a triaxial smartphone accelerometer data that can be found on Kaggle. This data is part of a competition where the goal is to identify users of smartphones from their unique biometrics, which accelerometers can detect. The raw data consists of over 60 million XYZ accelerometer measurements randomly sampled over 7 months of time from 387 smartphone users. This is a time series problem with multi-class classification. The first step is to divide the data into windows of 300 events, and then feature engineering in both the time and frequency domain is done using various statistical measures to create the new feature vectors. To solve this problem, I'm using scikit-learn with models like logistical regression, random forest, k-nearest neighbors, naive Bayes classifiers. This is a work in progress. And I want to thank you so much for your attention and thank the Jovian team for all that I know on these subjects, and wish you a good day.
Thank you, Samantha. Next, we have Anubrata.
Hi, I'm Anubrata. I'm a trained molecular biologist, and seeing the revolution that data science is bringing to health sciences, I decided to upskill myself in data science skills with the Jovian team. So I'll take some time to thank Aakash, Siddhant, Vishal, Biraj, Samanvitha, Himani for helping me in this journey. And also in the Code Hunters group, Ankit, Anushree, Shaswath, Matthias, Nikhil, Sifu, Saurav, Rahul, Arun. So they were an important part of my growth. And therefore, I would love to take this time to thank them, all of you. In fact, Anushree has made the presentation almost for me. So I'll be discussing 3 of my projects, which I did during the bootcamp under the tutelage of Aakash and Siddhant. So this is the exploratory data analysis of lending club loans. So the challenge in this was that there are 30 million rows, 150 features, and a lot of technical and financial terms. So the way I did it tackle is that I use the detail library to do an initial exploratory data analysis of this data and chart out the numerical and categorical features. Then to understand the various financial concepts, what I did is that I reviewed the previous 230 kernels which had attempted to analyze this data set. I used NLP tools like tokenizing the words and studying the distribution of the words to find the key terms which I found useful. Using that filtered data of the key terms, I again reanalyzed the data set, and ultimately I could come down to two simple ratios on the basis of which we could easily distinguish the accepted and rejected loans. Another project which I did was an attempt to predict the missing hospitalization data in a data set containing 58,000 records of COVID-affected patients worldwide. Now in this, almost 90% of the records did not have the hospitalization data. So we wanted to see whether we can predict what level of hospitalization would be required country-wise. So for that, we did the feature engineering to create variables, different ratios to better explain the data. And then we used different machine learning models from linear regression to random forest to try and see which features will best explain the hospitalization data. And we found that the random forest best explains the hospitalization data. It had a very high R-squared of 0.98. And we used that model to predict the country-wise hospitalization record in the various countries. The other project was a fun project which I did, and this was about geocoding the exact location of restaurants in Manila. So we used web scraping tools like Beautiful Soup and Requests to get data from the GrabFood website. And from that website, we extracted the address tags, and using the geocoding APIs from Google, MapQuest, and Nominatum, we extracted the latitude and longitude information, and we used Folium to map those locations of these restaurants in Manila. So thank you very much for watching this presentation, and my details of these projects are present in my hiring profile. Thank you.
Thank you, Anubrata. Next, we have David.
Hello, everyone. My name is David. I graduate from Queen Mary University of London with a master's degree in business analytics, where I was introduced to machine learning with Python and R. After graduation, I worked as a research associate at a data consultancy in the pharmaceutical industry. And now I'm pursuing my dream to be a data scientist while working as an associate consultant. Today, I'm going to talk about 4 projects I complete at Jovian Data Science Bootcamp. The machine learning project is to identify if a loan application is risky or not. The data source is from Kaggle and contains 150,000 rows with 11 columns. The project is to solve a supervised learning classification problem, and I performed a basic data science workflow, such as data cleaning, data exploration, data wrangling, data modeling, and documenting the results. I implement 4 types of models, such as logistic regression, random forest, gradient boosting machine, which is GBMS on the slide. I evaluate models with area under the curve, which is AUC, receiver operating characteristics curve, which is ROC on the slide. Among these models, the gradient boosting machine gave the best model performance with an accuracy of 93.89%. This model scored top 21% on the Kaggle leaderboard. My next project, exploratory data analysis, is about analyzing 22-year UK housing market dataset. The dataset has 20 million rows and 11 columns from the UK government website. In this project, I learned storytelling with the data to answer 12 research questions with 12 different types of chats. For example, spatial chat, heat map, live chat, bar chat, such and such. An interesting insight that I learned from this analysis is you might not believe the cheapest house in the UK was £1. To find out more about the £1 houses story, you can read my blog post or watch my presentation video on my YouTube channel. My third project is building an interactive dashboard using Tableau with a product mindset for a new manager called Jamie in a bookstore. Hypothetically thinking, I will report to the manager like this. Hi, Jamie. In July, the highest sales was the highest one in July. I recommend we look into the days if there were events we host in the bookstore drawing sales up, whereas the lowest sales was in February, for which I recommend we apply defensive strategy. For example, we can give more discounts to attract more consumers to buy our books. My last project is my innovation project at Bootcamp. In this project, I built a dashboard on the web with Dash app. I deployed it on Heroku so that everyone can access via a URL on a browser. This project aims to solve British small business owners' problems with getting insights from social media and data so that they can make new digital marketing strategy correspondingly, like to highlight digital presence, to increase online engagement, or to raise brand awareness, such as such. I hope you enjoy my presentation and you can contact me on these platforms. And I hope you have a good day, a good evening. Thank you.
Next, we have Mounir.
Hi, my name is Mounir, and I'm based in Montreal, where I work as an air traffic controller for NAV Canada. My background is in electrical engineering from the National Polytechnic School of Algiers. And I also earned an aerospace PhD from Toulouse University in France, where I work as a spacecraft guidance. I do in parallel work on personal projects and learnings, including the Jovian Bootcamp that I joined in March 2021. I would like to present some of my projects. The first one was an exploratory data analysis on aviation incidents in Canada. This topic is so important in my daily tasks, and using data manipulation and the analysis tools like Pandas, Matplotlib, and Seaborn, I studied a data set from the Canadian Ministry of Transportation. The data has actually included about 45,000 records of incidents and events from the last 80 years. And my analysis was focused on risk factors and safety improvement recommendations. Using Pandas, I was also able to investigate the outliers in the data set and associate them with events. I also studied the impact of regulations on safety. The second project I would like to share with you is a used car price prediction algorithm. It was based on the Canadian market data as well, using 400,000 transactions records. I performed an exploratory data analysis to have an intuition about the factors that can influence the car prices. This data set also required a lot of cleaning and encoding. And I ended up with about 2,800 features to predict the price. So I used gradient boosting, elastic net, and neural networks to do this task. And I achieved 91% accuracy in this project. The last but not least project I would like to share with you was focused on autoencoders in image in computer vision. So I designed and then trained a convolutional autoencoder that reconstructs handwritten digits, and using its internal representation, which is the output of the encoder, I presented two applications. The first one was a label generation method that reached about 81% of accuracy using just 1% of the labels, the original labels. This can be very useful when labels are missing in data, and partially missing or completely missing actually. And also it can be used to deal with outliers. The second application was to use this representation of the data to learn arithmetic operations on handwritten digits. In this case, the value of digits was not supplied to the network to learn this operation. And at the end of the training, the model was able to add, multiply, and compare handwritten digits without knowing explicitly their values. And 95% accuracy was achieved. So that's it for today. Thank you for your interest. And you can have more details on my projects using LinkedIn or via my Jovian profile page. Thank you.
Thanks, Mounir. Next, we have Ramy.
Hi, everyone. I am Ramy Abdallah. I utilize Python to apply machine learning techniques to deliver more accurate subsurface interpretation and better prediction of our subsurface resources. I am a geologist by background. I worked for the oil and gas industry for a while before I had the opportunity to do my master's degree in University College Dublin. After I complete my degree, I work on Keywords Studios attached to a project by Sony for 3 months in Netherlands, where I expose extensively to coding and programming and get my passion to that from there. Later, I had opportunity with a full funded project to do my PhD in University of Aberdeen, merging between geology, machine learning, and coding. When I want to learn about deep learning, I came across Jovian, and I did the Zero to GANs course, and later I joined the bootcamp. In this presentation, I'm going to show you some of the project and work I have been doing on the last 6 months with Jovian. The first project I did was trying to create a tool that can classify between the fault geometries according to the hinge, rounded or chevron fault or box fault classification problem. In this study, we propose to build a synthetic data set to increase the number of images plus the augmentation and normalization to increase the images. And we utilize a convolutional neural network. And those neural networks are specifically special because they preserve the spatial relationship between the pixel, which make them very suitable for geological data. Then we train a ResNet 50 model to reach accuracy of more than 70%. I present this project in 3 conferences, and I get a prize of one of them. So it's a great project and a great learning process. The second project is a project using the data set from the fourth competition 2020, where we used petrophysical data, where line data, to predict the subsurface lithology. This data set specifically have a lot of missing values and imbalance classes. We overcome the missing values by creating a model. However, this is a classification problem also, but we build a model, a regression model, to fill the nonce, which also like a great idea I learned from this project, and apply weights to overcome the imbalance classes. And we also evaluate our model using a customized evaluation matrix. The third project is exploratory data analysis using geological, geophysical, and petrophysical data from Gulf of Mexico, where I use Word Cloud and Mapbox and Bar Race to explore and to get insights from the data. Finally, I want to say that whenever I work on machine learning project, I strongly believe that maybe the next big idea born in that project or the next big discovery discussed in that project with the accuracy rise and fall and with more data joining, but we face with imbalanced classes, missing values, nonce, outliers, and which evaluation matrix we're gonna choose, where the problem get a little bit complicated, where I will be your partner to quiet the noise and to build a strong machine learning project and make a sense of it all. And thank you.
Thank you, Ramy. Next, we have Pritesh.
Hi, everyone. My name is Pritesh Patel. I'm a risk and data professional from the investment banking sector. I have over 10 years experience specifically in data analysis and MI reporting. I did my bachelor degree in finance from the Gujarat University, India. And then after I did my master in risk management from the Glasgow Caledonian University in Scotland. Currently, I'm working as a business analyst in the Deutsche Bank. I'm part of the data and innovation office in the Deutsche Bank. And in that, my role is to create the data landscape reporting for the bank. For the past 6 months, I gained quite a good knowledge about the Python programming, analytics, as well as the project management, which helped me in my role a lot. And for that, I would like to thank Aakash and the team. Now, I'd like to present 3 of the projects that I prepared during my bootcamp. Okay, first one. In this project, what I did is I went to, this is the Westmoreland Fire Services, our local fire department. So what I did is I went to the Birmingham Data Factory website and collected the data for the last 10 years. And when I collected the data, I noticed that there are over 270,000 incidents happen just in the last 10 years. And not all the incidents were related to fire. So I wanted to explore this data in a visual manner. So what I did, I downloaded the data and then added the geolocation to that data and then published that data to the Kaggle as well. So the other data science community can utilize it. So using the Python and other data visualization library, I come up with some key insight. For example, out of 270,000 incidents, third of those incidents were related to non-fire related. That means that's something to do with someone has in the canteen, someone is smoking, or in the kitchen, someone was cooking, and then fire alarm started in the industrial sector or the bonfire. So a lot of incidents were related to non-fire related incidents. And then other key insight that I found is the majority of incidents were happened between 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. in the evening. And summer has a greater occurrence of the incident as compared to winter. And apart from that, Birmingham has a higher rate of the incidents as opposed to any other district in this West Midland. I think that's mainly due to the dense population of the city. Next project is in this project, I created an interactive dashboard using Tableau. So for this, I used the Bootcamp dataset. In this Bootcamp dataset, there were 13 tables. So using those 13 tables, I created a data model and then created some calculated fields. For example, I created the sales price after discount using the calculated field function of the Tableau. Apart from that, I created some sets. For example, top 10 sets of the title. So it just shows that what are the top 10 books by the number of copies sold. And after that, I did further analysis of the sales growth. In the sales growth, I noticed that apart from the non-fiction, all the others category had the significant drop in the sale in a last quarter of the year. And similarly, from the checkout point of view, science fiction, fantasy, romance, and children had the majority of checkout as compared to any other genre in the data set. Roughly 1,100 checkers were happen every month. And aligned with the drop in a sales growth, I also noticed that the checkout were also reduced in the last quarter of the year. My last project was the machine learning project. And my problem statement for this project was to find the taxi fare prediction. And for this, I used the Kaggle dataset. In that Kaggle dataset, there were around 50 million plus rows and across 9 columns. So I trained the decision tree model and other ensemble methods such as the random forest and XGBoost. My evaluation criteria for criteria for this project was to root mean square error. Before that, I did some exploratory analysis as well on this data set and noticed that there was a trend. For example, average fare price particularly high during the morning and evening rush hour, at night, and at specific drop-off location. For example, the airport location, I noticed that the fare price were particularly higher as well. So I did some further feature engineering and hyperparameter tuning. And after doing that, my base model was the XGBoost with the RMSE of 4.5, $4.57, something like that. This is still an ongoing project. It's a large data set, and I want to improve my RMSE. So I'm still working on it, but still I'm trying to achieve the better RMSE on that one. And lastly, I would like to thank Aakash and the whole team. I mean, I learned a great deal in the last 6 months and hoping to continue that. And I'm considered Aakash and the whole team as our mentor for in our career progress in the data science. So thanks a lot. And thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Pritesh. Next, we have Deepa.
Hi, everyone. I'm Deepa Sarojam, and I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. I work as a senior system analyst for UST, and I've consulted for Fortune 25 clients like Anthem, Costco Wholesale, and Starbucks. For the past 6 months, I've been studying on data science with Jovian team. In this presentation, I'll walk you through 3 of my projects that I did during Jovian Bootcamp. My first project is an exploratory data analysis on police violence in United States. The data was from Kaggle, and it had 51,000 rows and 30 plus features, including both police and civilian deaths in police encounters. I cleaned and prepared the data using NumPy and Pandas. Then I visualized the data using Matplotlib, Seaborn, and Plotly. I could draw many interesting insights about police encounters, like Blacks had the highest possibility of fatalities causing death. Highest fatalities were caused in gunshots. Men in their 20s were dead in comparison to women and transgenders. And California recorded the highest fatalities. My next project is a machine learning project to predict the deal probability for Avito's online ads. This was a supervised regression machine learning problem. I trained the data the data set itself was over 1 million rows and 10 features. It included both numeric and categorical columns. I performed data cleaning, feature selection, imputing, scaling, and encoding. I divided the data into training and validation, and I created a baseline model to compare the models. I trained the data over linear, train-based, and ensemble models such as random forest and XGBoost. I got the best score of RMSE of 0.24857 for random forest regressor with hyperparameter tuning and feature engineering. My last project is on an interactive dashboard on bookshop data using Tableau. The data was in the format of Excel. I cleaned the data and defined relationship using joins, unions, VLOOKUP, and pivot table. Visualized the books, sales, and checkout trends using plots, graphs, and maps, and applied filters to make it interactive across the dashboard. It was interesting to understand that hardcover books are still in high demand in comparison to other genres. Young adult books seem to have higher ratings, and most of the marketing money was spent for young adults other than any other genre. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Deepa. Next, we have Ankit.
My name is Ankit Pratap Singh, and I'm a data science consultant at Zomentum. I have a master's degree in mathematics. I have been writing data pre-processing script for extracting data from MongoDB database and creating interactive dashboards on Power BI and Tableau. Today, I'm going to show you 3 of my projects from Jovian Data Science Bootcamp: exploratory data analysis, web scraping project, and machine learning project. My first project was on exploratory data analysis on COVID vaccination data. I picked the dataset from Kaggle. It consists of 48,000 rows and 15 columns. The data was about 110 countries. I did basic data cleaning using NumPy and Pandas. And then I draw some visualizations using Matplotlib, Seaborn, and Plotly. I get the information to compare the total population with the fully vaccinated population and partially vaccinated population. I looked for daily vaccination for different countries. I found that China is the country that has covered more than 80% of its population with the complete immunization. Other than China, I found Belgium, Canada, USA, and Netherlands are the countries that have been covered more than 70% of their population with at least 70% population with partial vaccination. My second project was on web scraping to scrape the information from web pages. I picked a website called value.today to scrape the information for world's top 500 companies information by the market capitalization. I use Beautiful Soup 4 and request library for this. I scraped information about company's CEO, headquarters, and number of employees in each company. I created 2 CSV files, one containing information about company CEO, headquarters, and market capitalization according by the rank, and the second one containing rest of the information. My third project was on machine learning. The problem statement was to predict winning percentage for each player of the PUBG match. I picked a dataset from Kaggle again. The dataset was containing more than 4.4 million rows of data with 28 columns. The entire data was more than 65,000 matches with anonymized player data. I did basic data cleaning, and then I did some EDA part, and then I trained a baseline model with ridge regression. For that, I got about 60 to 70% accuracy for the test set, and I'm currently experimenting with different hyperparameters for the random forest and XGBoost models. Thanks for watching this.
Thanks, Ankit. Next, we have Landry.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dejoli Toko Landry. I'm a foreign student in China, but presently in Russia because of COVID-19. I have a bachelor degree in business administration from Guangdong Polytechnic Normal University and in computer science from South China University. I'm also completing my master's degree from South China University in communication and information system. For the past month, I've been working on some projects, including those from the bootcamp. And today I'm going to share with you some of 4 of my relevant projects. My first project is about emotional analysis and classification using deep learning models such as CNN and BLSTM. I use a self-built data set which take into consideration speech and non-speech emotion occurrences. The database is made of 4,900 audio samples and 6 different emotions. I achieved a recognition accuracy of 74% and tested the robustness of my model using the EmoDB, where I got 83% of recognition accuracy, and the EmioCap database, where I achieved 66.7% of accuracy, recognition accuracy based on speaker independent. My next project is exploratory data analysis on international football matches since 1887. The dataset had more than 42,000 matches of information, which I turned into insight using NumPy, Panda, Seaborn, and Folio. Some interesting insights from the analysis are city that hosted the most international football game, including friendship game, country football team statistics and records since they got registered at FIFA. My third project is an interactive dashboard of book sales using Tableau Public, where I analyzed transactions of 58 books from 4 different publishers. One of the observations I made is from this analysis was book sales from any genre drastically fall during September and October. And my fourth project is my machine learning project, predicting property price in Moscow using the Sberbank Russian housing market dataset from Kaggle. The dataset has more than 30,000 rows and 300 columns. In this project, I have used the machine learning algorithms such as linear regression, decision tree, random forest, gradient boosting, and LightGBM. My evaluating metrics is root mean square error. As for now, my best model is the LightGBM. With an RMSE value about 2,500,000 rubles, for 500,000 rubles. This score is without using hyperparameter tuning, which stand in the top 54% on the Kaggle leaderboard. Clearly not a good score because my goal is to score the top 20% on the Kaggle leaderboard. I aim to achieve that score by performing further data cleaning, applying hyperparameter tuning, and feature selection to the model. This is all about my project, my 4 projects. If you want to know more about the project, you can check on my Jovian profile. Thank you. And I also want to thank everyone for the bootcamp, for your helps, and the Jovian teams. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Landry. Next, we have Abhishek.
I have a degree in aerospace engineering from IIT Bombay, where I did courses on linear algebra, calculus, optimization algorithms. I also have experience in working in the tech industry and financial industry. I would like to exhibit some of my projects. My first project is a machine learning project on battery degradation prediction. Batteries are complex electrochemical devices which have a non-linear complex process of degradation, and they are not very well suited for analytical method of analysis. So I analyzed 23B plus time series data, high dimensional data of 200 plus cells to build our data-driven model using linear regression elastic net. I was able to build a model which predicted the life cycle fairly accurately with a root mean square error of around 20 cycles. My next project is also based on lithium-ion batteries. So lithium-ion batteries, typically after their first use, they still have around 70 to 80% capacity. So they're required to be screened and sorted out so that they can be put into second use. So I did unsupervised clustering using PCA and K-means clustering through using data from voltage response curve of pulse test, so as to cluster cells based on their capacities and other battery characteristics. I was able to obtain 80% accuracy, and this process saved a lot of time as compared to traditional process, which takes around several hours, more than 6-7 hours, and this process can be actually implemented in just 10 minutes. My next project is about ED analysis. In this project, I did a cross-state digital payment study based on the data which I got from PhonePe Pulse dataset API. So I had more than 10,000 of PhonePe Pulse data, which I actually flattened out from nested dictionaries. Then I aggregated the data at the level of the state, and then analyzed it with other socioeconomic indicators of the states like GST collections, the wage rate of the states, the percentage of labor involved in agricultures, and so on. Some of the interesting insight which I found from this analysis was that the data, the financial digital payment data for the state is very well correlated with the GST collection of the states. Also, the amount of the ticket size of the data actually depends on the population of the labor involved in agriculture. The state which have like higher agriculture population tend to have a lower ticket size for one typical transaction. While it may seem that states with higher income may have direct relationship with more digital payment volume and value transaction, but there was no such evident relationship, which hints that the financial payments in India have democratized at across income levels. So these are my projects. If you are interested to know more about this, you can always reach out to me at my Jovian profile. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Abhishek. Next, we have Nicolas.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nicolas Benavides. I studied economics in Rosario University. I have worked as a product analyst, as banking correspondence head. My last job was as a marketing analyst for a Spanish company. Currently, I decided to make a shift on my path career profile. Since then, I have been learning to program in Python, specifically in the field of data science. For this reason, I want to present you the 3 projects where I captured the knowledge and their insights. The first one is the price index variation for consumer goods. This project is a tutorial for the essential tools for conducting an exploratory data analysis. The database was taken from DANI, National Statistics Department of Colombia. More than 82,000 rows and 67 columns were analyzed. Through Pandas and NumPy, I organized and created the necessary data for the study. As the graphical part, Matplotlib and Seaborn libraries were used in the static graphs. For the interactive one, I used Plotly. In summary, it was confirmed that in Colombia, the basic goods of the family basket didn't even have a relevant increase between April and March of 2020. The second one is a Walmart sales prediction. This was a machine learning Kaggle competition. The purpose of this one was to forecast the sales of a bunch of stores considering certain variables. The database contained more than 420,000 rows and 16 columns sales of data. All the projects was developed using scikit-learn library. Project acknowledged. The data structure didn't have a considerable modification. The model accuracy is leveraged on the categorical columns. It was used 3 different regression algorithms: linear, random forest, and XGBoost. The final mean absolute error was $3,560. I scored on the top of 20% of Kaggle leaderboard. The third project is a web scraping. At the beginning of this project, I leveraged entirely on Beautiful Soup. I switched to Selenium due to the interactive of the website. Perform the web scraping on Mercado Libre, the biggest marketplace in Latin America using Selenium. I scrapped more than 10 pages containing almost 500 rows, product data, and exported to a CSV file. I published a blog post in a form of tutorial to do through Selenium. Thank you so much.
Thanks everyone for, I don't know about you, but I thought those projects were pretty impressive. And you've set the bar really high for future batches. And the wonderful part about these projects is that many of you have combined your expertise in a specific domain, your experience in a domain, with the data science skills covered in this bootcamp. And I honestly don't think I can create such great projects, even if I tried, without the right domain knowledge that you have. So next, we'll hear a little bit from the Jovian team. Of course, there are many people in the team, but the 3 people in particular that I want to invite to speak. The first is Siddhant Ujjain. He's my co-founder and the CTO of Jovian. He's also been mentoring the entire batch.
Thanks, Aakash. Hi, everyone. First of all, congratulations for graduating from the Data Science Bootcamp. It's been an exciting journey working with all of you over the past 6 months, showing up every day, putting in all your efforts towards learning something new for an extended period is not an easy task. And also, like, while you're holding a full-time job, I believe what you all have achieved over the program is very significant. This is our first ever bootcamp batch and is very special to us. I would like to thank you all for trusting us and joining us. Data science is a very dynamic and fast moving field, and I hope you will all keep on learning and upskilling yourselves. I believe that each of you would go on to do amazing things. It's the day one for the rest of your career. Congratulations again and all the best. Over to you, Aakash.
Thanks, Siddhant. Next, I would like to invite Samanvitha, who's working with us as an assistant instructor and is leading some of the current batches.
Thanks, Aakash. First of all, congratulations to all the presenters on graduating the bootcamp. And secondly, great presentations, everyone. Truly, because I know some of you have been hesitant or holding yourself back thinking, am I good enough to do this or am I ready to do this? But I hope you can see the difference now. I hope you're feeling better now after giving the presentations and see how far you've come. I mean, this is just a span of what, 60 hours? But look at the graph that you, the comfort zone you've set for yourself and coming out of it. And secondly, I'm pretty sure your March 2021 self is really proud of you, looking at you right now with the amount of projects or the community or the kind of knowledge you've brought or you've built over these 6 months. I mean, I'm pretty sure it is because my 18-year-old self is literally screaming right now because I never thought I would be able to talk to a geologist or microbiologist or a physicist. So it's my 18-year-old self is screaming right now. And I hope you guys know the kind of impact you're leaving behind after this bootcamp, because it is going to continue. As Siddhant said, it's the first batch, it's really special, but it's not because it's the first batch, because you guys really did leave a huge impact. Like I can very confidently say for the coming participants, if they have any inhibitions about, hey, I'm from non-CS background, will I be able to do it? Is my age a limit to, come forward and do all of this? Hey, English is not my first language. I still am struggling with it. Will I be able to break into this field? You guys, and I can confidently say you can, and I have some live examples to show. So I hope you guys know the kind of impact you're leaving behind. And one and only thing I can say is like, I feel really honored that I was able to take up a little part of this data science journey that you guys started. And I'm truly honored, and only one thing left to say, all the best. There is only larger and bigger things from now on. I hope we continue this even after the bootcamp. Over to you, Aakash.
Thanks, Samanvitha. Next, I would like to invite Biraj to say a few words. Biraj has been a part of the Jovian community from almost the very beginning, from our first course we did over a year and a half ago. And it's just Biraj has continued contributing so much that we decided to bring him into the team, and we decided, Biraj is now handling batches of the bootcamp. So Biraj, please go ahead.
Thanks, Aakash. I was waiting for my chance to congratulate them. So about me, I am Biraj, the lead assistant instructor of the August batch of the Data Science Bootcamp. I was a teaching assistant for the March batch, and I used to conduct study hours and one-on-one calls for them. I used to enjoy the interesting questions they used to bring up during the lectures and study hour session. It was amazing to see all of them grow together and as a team. I remember later in the course, some of them used to ask me some questions, and even before I could reply, they would have solved the problem. I also evaluated a lot of projects and assignments for the batch, and I'm sure that this is the part where they might have been irritated and angry on my comments and evaluations. So this is the full disclosure. It was not my choice. I was instructed to be strict while evaluating them. Okay, so jokes apart, here's the most interesting part. They never got bored of getting my comments in their projects. Rather, it made them more enthusiastic, and they used to come to me and throw me piles of questions and how to improve the projects. Finally, here's the moment. I would like to congratulate all of you on graduating the bootcamp. Thanks for making the bootcamp successful, and wish you all great success on your journey ahead. Bye. We will miss the class with you all, and we are always here to support you. All the best. Over to you, Aakash.
Thanks, Biraj. Now, there was a surprise that was sent by the batch for the Jovian team. So I'm just going to share that briefly, and then we will take a closer look at it in the after party that we'll have just with the graduates after this. So let me share my screen. So here's what I received I received a physical copy of this in the mail today, and I also received this PDF. So this is a wall of love from the Jovian community. Let's see. Yeah. And these are just messages that the bootcamp participants or the March batch participants have shared. So here's a message from Ramy. I'm not going to read the whole thing right now. We'll definitely get into it in the event after this. But thanks a lot, Ramy, for I really love this part that Jovian is a way of life and a school of thought. We hope that that is something that materializes. Thank you, Ankit. Thanks for, I still remember our first conversation when you were a bit hesitant but you made sure to mention that you're going to give it your 100%, and you have, and just so glad to see what you achieved in these 6 months. Thanks, Nicolas. I'm very happy to hear that this is the most enriching educational experience that you have ever had. It is very encouraging for us, and it is just words like these that keep us going. Thanks, Mounir. Yeah, well, even it's sometimes even a surprise for us that there is so much that the community has learned together and created together, far more than we could have ever imagined. So thanks a lot for being a part of this. Thanks, Landry. Thanks a lot for your kind words. Really enjoyed our conversations and all the projects that you've been working on. And it's a great path that you've chosen, first getting involved into deep learning with PyTorch and then deciding to learn data science completely. Thanks, Pritesh. Yeah, I think one of the things that we have learned together as part of this bootcamp is that it is really hard to learn something new on your own in your free time while holding a full-time job. So together we have tried to figure out, and we've tried to find out time management skills and collaboration skills so that we could all still have an intensive learning experience and come out learning things. So great, thanks a lot. We're glad to hear that that has worked. Thank you, Shaswath. Again, have really enjoyed all the conversations that we've had with you. And yep, this is the part which probably makes it very difficult. It's always challenging to balance work and learning, but the community is so supportive. So I want to thank everyone for supporting each other, all the study groups, everybody who spoke to each other. Thank you, Muni. It was great to have you as part of the bootcamp too. And again, thanks for being with us from the very beginning. I think you've taken pretty much every course that we have created from the very beginning. So thanks a lot. Thank you. And we are very glad to have you as a part of the community too. Adrian, thanks, Adrian. Again, it's a great interacting with you. And I see that you are now taking your skills and applying them to what you're pursuing right now. And I wish you all the best. And finally, okay, we have a few more. Thanks, Anushree. Thanks a lot for, first of all, for just deciding to learn data science, get hands-on, and then being so active in not just completing all the work, but helping others, sharing resources. It was great to have you as part of the batch. In a lot of cases, you probably have helped people more than we have. So thank you. Thanks, Samantha. And thanks for summarizing the top takeaways that you have to do your best. It can be a difficult process, especially long time sustained learning. So yeah, you just have to do your best. Done is better than perfect. and just constantly keep reminding yourself that you're good enough. Help others, be kind, and something that I probably have said maybe 200 times, which is to do more projects and write blogs. So yeah, thanks for summarizing those for us. And next we have Deepa. Hey Deepa, thanks a lot for your testimonial as well. I remember our initial conversations when, again, you were hesitant about taking the leap, but it's just amazing how you've picked things up and the things that you've built. And I wish you all the best. And thanks, Isabel. Thank you for being part of the program, and really enjoyed the conversations we had, and especially the conversations about geology and how you're trying to apply machine learning to your area of expertise. Thank you, Anubrata. Thank you for your kind words. And thanks also for keeping the study group together, for organizing all the discussions. Some of them we were part of, some of them you were just doing on your own, for all the projects that you were helping others build, and for your excitement and enthusiasm. So thanks a lot. Thanks, David. Thanks a lot for just being one of the first people to sign up for the bootcamp, and for all the questions that you've asked. I think they've helped everybody, and most of all they've helped us improve the curriculum itself and create more resources, share more resources. So really love the excitement and enthusiasm that you bring to everything that you do. Thank you. So yeah, thanks for this gift, and we will share the physical copy with the Jovian team as well, and I will share the PDF too. Thank you very much. Now, with that, we've pretty much reached the end of this event. So I just want to remind everybody watching, if you or somebody you know is hiring for data science roles and would like to reach out to the presenters today, then definitely go to jovian.ai/hire/apply, and we'll share the link in a follow-up email and in the comments for you. And you can fill out your information, and then we can give you access to the candidates, and then you will be able to reach out to them. So finally, just to close things out, first of all, I just want to congratulate all of you, all the graduates, once again. And I want to congratulate you for a few reasons. One, of course, for the work that you have done during the course of this bootcamp. That is just pretty incredible. There's no doubt about it. But also because you have decided to pursue a career in data science, and not just pursue it as a career, but make it your passion. Because I don't think at this point there is any more exciting field that I would want to dive into than data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence. And I don't think there is any other field which is going to have such a huge fundamental impact on how the world works over the next decade or two, other than data science. And I also want to congratulate you because you have taken the initiative to learn something completely new in your part-time, which is very hard to do, very hard to execute successfully. And I want to congratulate you because you have discovered a great community of like-minded learners. And we are pretty confident that the bonds that you have built here will last forever. And it's something that will just continue to grow stronger. Now, finally, I just want to zoom out a bit here and just want to say that we really think that this is the start of something special. Of course, because it's our first batch, but also just going through the batch and just helping people learn and trying to figure out how to deliver the best outcomes, trying to make sure that we can help you succeed in your goals. We have learned so much. So I want to thank you. We've learned a lot that we probably could not have learned in any other way. And we've started to realize that education as we know it is changing fundamentally. Now, with the power of tools like Slack and Zoom and learning platforms like Jovian and many others, I truly believe that anyone from any part of the world can experience the life-changing transition of attending a world-class university program or any learning program, right? And anyone from any part of the world can become part of a community of like-minded peers from around the world. Now, of course, there's a long way to go there, but I sincerely believe that this is the future. And that is one of the things that we are working towards. And the other thing that I think is something that holds true in the world today is that the model of first graduating from university in your early or mid 20s and then just working in the same domain or applying the same skills for 2 or 3 decades, that is coming to an end. Technology is evolving so rapidly, things are moving so fast, new things are coming up every day, that the skills that you have learned right now may be potentially to at least to some extent out of date in just a few years, right? You will always have to learn new tools, new concepts, new domains. And the only way to do that is in this kind of a setting where while you're working, you're able to make time to learn something new, to really get involved and have an intensive learning experience, become part of a community, and then start applying it to your work and to your career, right? So I think this is where the world is heading, and thanks a lot for demonstrating that successfully. I want to thank you all for placing your trust in us. It was a big responsibility, and we have tried and we will continue to do our best to support you in your journey. And we wish you all the best as you take the challenge of building your career in data science. The Jovian team and the community will be with you along every step of the way. So thank you and have a good day or good night. Thanks for joining.